Now I am going to explain the Hicksian method of separating the income effect and substitution effect. Let us start from the first consumer equilibrium, point of consumer equilibrium. The original price line is AB, which is tangent to the indifference curve IC1 at point A. This is the equilibrium point, the initial equilibrium. Now, if there is a change in the price of commodity X, we have already seen that this price line will shift rightward from A to AB to AB1. So, this change in the price line shows that there is a reduction in the price of commodity X. Now, with this shift of the price line, there is a new consumer equilibrium at point B, where the new price line AB1 is tangent to a higher indifference curve IC2, because with reduction in the price of commodity X, the consumer is able to move to a higher level of satisfaction. He is able to buy more of goods. And what is the resultant change in the consumption of commodity X? He increases his consumption from OX1 to OX2. So this X1, X2 is known as the total price effect. With a reduction in the price of commodity X, how much of commodity X is being more demanded? So that is this difference from X1 to X2. So X1, X2 is known as the total price effect. Now we are going to separate this. What we do is, we are taking away the increase in the income of the consumer as a result of changing price. How do we take away this increase? That is by compensating the variation in income, or we are reducing his income in such a way that with the reduction in income, the consumer is brought back to the indifference curve 1. Or in other words, we are taking away his income so that he comes back to the previous level of satisfaction, that is IC1. So we draw a parallel downward, there is a parallel downward shift of this AB1 to a new price line CD. This is a we assume that with a fall, because of the decrease in income, if there is a decrease in income, there is a parallel downward shift of the price line, which we have explained earlier. So, parallel downward shift from AB1 to CD, so that the consumer is on the same level of initial level of satisfaction, is known as the process of compensating variation in income. And now we see that with this, after reducing his income, the new equilibrium of this CD price line with IC1 is at point C. This is a new equilibrium point, consumer. So there is still an increase. Even when we take away, even after we take away the increased income part from the consumer, he is still increasing his demand for commodity X from X1 to X3. So we have removed the income effect. Now this is known as the substitution effect. So after taking away the increased income, what is the increase in demand of commodity X? That is because of this substitution effect, is because the relative change has caused an increase in the consumption of commodities from X1 to X3. So when we take away the income effect, what is the change in demand? That is known as the substitution effect. This is X1, X3. Now, if you give back the income which was taken away, then he will still move on to the new price line AB1. And this difference, X3, X2, or this part of consumption, is the income effect. Because after taking the substitution effect, whatever is remaining is known as the income effect. Or we say income effect is equal to price effect minus substitution effect. So we first take out the substitution effect. This is a total price effect x1, x2, that is the total price effect, x1, x2 minus x1, x3, that is x2, x3 is the income effect. Income effect is price change, price effect minus substitution effect, that is x2, x3 or x3, x2, this difference. This is known as the income effect.